What's up, guys? Just get back from seeing Thor Ragnarok. If you have not seen the movie yet, go see it before you watch this movie. I'm getting the spoilers. So, I like this movie. I think it's a better Thor than the first one. And Thor Dark World, I liked them. But this one was had more funny parts and more comedy in it. I think a lot more. It's a completely different Thor than, the other two. And basically, with this movie, it starts out where Thor is imprisoned by the demon Sutter. And kind of find out that during the Avengers Age of Ultron, why he was missing in that movie was because he was going out trying to find all the Infinity Stones. And apparently he never did find him. So he ended up getting captured by Sutter. And the demon Sutter wants to take over Asgard. And so what happens is Thor ends up defeating Sutter and chopped his head off. Or took his crown. And went back to Asgard and put it in the vault. And then kind of find out that it's kind of funny that Odin was watching a play of Loki dying and Thor, trying to talk to him for the last couple minutes, and it ended up being Loki ended up being Odin. And what it was is that apparently their dad Odin was on Earth because I guess he's been missing for a long time. And then they go to Earth, and they end up running into Doctor Strange, which is the end credits of Doctor Strange movie, where he's sitting there talking to him. And so it's the full-length scene of that particular end credit. So that was actually kind of neat to have Doctor Strange show up. And then so he's trying to, do all that stuff. So Odin ends up dying, and Hela comes in, which is played by Kate Blanchett, and I thought she was really good as the main villain in this movie. I thought Hela was kind of, I think, one of the best villains in the movie, I think. And so he ends up getting trying to go back to Asgard, and she knocks him out of the little boom tube thingy, whatever it's called, trying to go back to Asgard, and he gets knocked off and goes through into space and lands on this planet. And on the planet, Jeff Goldblum is there, and he plays the Grand Master, and Jeff Goldblum is really out there in this movie. He's kind of, I guess a little eccentric and really out there. Well, Jeff Goldblum is really out there anyway, but I thought he was really kind of funny in this movie. And so when he lands, these creature or the inhabitants are going to try to eat him, and this woman saves him and takes it back to the Grand Master. And basically, they put this little thing in his neck to shock him, so that keep him in line, and ends up keeping him as a warrior, because they have this big gladiator type arena, and they keep talking about their great grand champion, and so finally they get to the fight, and basically everybody that fights against the grand champion dies, and ended up being the Incredible Hulk. And that was, the whole part where Thor's like, yes, he's a friend from what? That, oh my gosh, that was, really funny part. And so, and all that, with the Hulk, that's all, from the Planet Hulk comics, that they kind of put, threw a little bit of that in there, in him being a gladiator. And then in this movie, he's actually the Hulk is actually talking, and I think this is really the first time that anybody's really heard him really talk, except when it says Hulk smash. But he's actually, talking, which is actually kind of cool. And he's living there on the planet. And come to find out that after this is all going to take place 2 years after Age of Ultron, and Bruce Banner has been living as the Hulk for the last 2 years, and he doesn't really remember really being the Hulk. Really, the last thing he really remembers was him being there in Sokovia trying to stop Ultron, and when he got thrown into space, and he said he crash landed on this planet when he went up into space in the airplane. So that kind of explained where he was and what's been happening to him. So finally, they get him back to Bruce Banner, and he's talking with the gal that kidnapped him, trying to form a team, and he come to find out that she's a Valkyrie. And what it was is that Hela, back in the day, Hela is actually Odin's daughter and Thor's older sister, come to find out. And it's never been mentioned about her at all until this movie. And come to find out that Hela and Odin, many years ago, before, Asgard is what it is now, that they'd go out and pillage other planets and pretty much go out through the whole space universe and try to conquer everything. So that's what they would do. And then after that, apparently Odin imprisoned her, and now she got free, and now she's trying to basically take over Asgard and make it her own place to rule and whatnot, to bring Ragnarok. And so they're fighting, and the whole time she's trying to enslave the entire population. And so Thor ends up getting Valkyrie and Hulk and some of the other gladiators that was in the arena there, because this rock guy was trying to make a revolution, and he was really funny. And because he said, he didn't pass on enough pamphlets and stuff, so they ended up eventually recruiting him. And when it was really funny when Thor got his haircut, the guy who was cutting it was Stan Lee, which was funny because his right hand was a big old saw that spun around with two big old more saws and stuff, and he ended up cutting his hair. So that was kind of, really funny to see Stan Lee's appearance in his cameo, which was, really funny. And so they ended up getting them to come into Asgard with them, and Hela went down into the basement of the palace under under their dad Odin's castle, his throne, and that's where they kept the eternal flame. And she ended up getting that, and when they were, trying to conquer the universe, they had all these big warriors that they would basically, when they would die, they would bury them down there and honor them as an honor. And she had this big, huge dog, and she took the eternal fire and made them all come back to life like the Evil Dead, and they used them as as her army. And basically, through the whole rest of the movie, they're trying to take over Asgard. And when Loki, Valkyrie, and Hulk and Thor finally came back to Asgard, they were all fighting, and it looked like Hela was about ready to win. She, cut out his Thor's eye, and basically Thor told Loki to take the crown of Sutter down to the eternal flame, or eternal fire, and put it in there, and he came up, and basically what it was is that Hela had to bring Ragnarok to Asgard, and then that was part of the prophecy, and that Surtur had to kill her and wipe out the whole city as the prophet. So they finally did that, and it's really cool that to see Hulk trying to, rip open the dog's head. And it's really funny through the whole movie, the banter between the Hulk and Thor. And Thor, wanted to go up there and fight Surtur because the Hulk likes to smash. And Thor had to talk him out of it. So finally, they did. And Surtur basically destroyed the city. And they get everybody, all the people of the city, into this big ship that Loki had brought in to save everybody, and they basically, Asgard got destroyed, and they saved all the people. So they're all kind of basically floating in space, and in this big ship. I guess they're going to go to Earth, and so that's basically where they left it out, or left the movie, that they're out into space, I guess, trying to find a new home. And they're going to try to, I guess, go back to Earth or try to find a planet somewhere to live on for the new Asgard. And that's basically where they end the movie. And with the end credits, there's actually two of them. The first one's not too long after the movie ends, where Loki and Thor are sitting there looking out the window talking about going to Earth, and they both look up, and there's this big shadow coming. This big, huge ship comes in right in front of them, and they're just kind of like, oh crap. And then that's the whole end credit scene. And I think that might be probably something from Infinity War, probably Thanos maybe. And then if you sit to the very last credit, the very last end credit scene is the Grand Master comes out of the ship when they were on his planet, because they had a whole uprising, because he had told the whole planet to go look for the Hulk and Thor to get him back, and there's a big revolution. And he basically comes out and says, oh, well, you guys did good, I've been overthrown, let's call it a tie. And then it ends. And I thought this was a really good movie, and pretty much that's it. And I really liked it. I thought it's really good. It's a fun family movie. It's really fun. I think this is probably one of the most funniest Marvel movies, I think, out of the whole MCU. I think I laughed more in this movie than any other one. So I think, it's a really good movie. I give it 10 out of 10. If you haven't go see it, I say go see it. I recommend it very much. Well, that's going to do it for this movie. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and smack a big like on it, leave a comment, and go ahead and share it so other people can see it. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and so you can stay up to date with all my movie reviews and all my other content that I do have on my channel. So go check that out and subscribe. Until next time, peace out.